Hi there, and thanks for taking the time to learn a little more about our Do-It-Yourself Oregon Pay Equity Toolkit. It's our pleasure to assist you to success in this important endeavor in pay administration for your employees. A few reminders about Oregon's pay equity law before we jump into the tool. First, the law was passed by our 2017 legislature. Full implementation was reached on January 1st of 2019. Every Oregon employer is subject to the law as long as you have more than one paid employee. Failure to comply may result in complaints from employees with the Bureau of Labor and Industries or civil litigation. Let's jump into the tool. In order to reach compliance with Oregon pay equity, there are several steps to success. Let's walk through each of them in brief overview. Step 1. Each organization needs to define their comparable characteristics. The titles of those characteristics are knowledge, skill, effort, responsibility, and working conditions. Neither the law or the rule specifically identified the definitions of these terms. However, both gave suggestions and direct employers to make decisions about what they'll use for their organization in assessing jobs internally. So first, define comparable characteristics. Second, update your job descriptions. While the law identifies that regardless of a job title or a job description, accurate comparison of the actual work being done is required, job descriptions are the most common form of job documentation. They are also used for many other compliance tasks within the HR arena, and this is the best place to maintain the information about the comparable characteristics you will define. Updating your job descriptions is a process not only to ensure the accuracy of what's actually being done, but also to capture any additional needs by including items from the definitions of your comparable characteristics. Once job descriptions have been updated, you need to analyze every job against the comparable characteristics defined by your organization in step 1. Then, a simple process to group the jobs of comparable characteristic together. In many cases, an organization's job titles will have a unique characteristic profile. If indeed you don't, the law then says that the jobs of comparable character must have the same total compensation. In step 5, we gather the needed total compensation information for the jobs that have either multiple people or compared to each other through the definitions defined in step 1 and analyzed in step 3. Step 6 is analyzing the total compensations of the employees in the groupings of comparable character, and then step 7 is justifying any of the differences using the bona fide factors allowed in law, of which there are 8. Then finally, and only if needed, develop a corrective action plan. And this is a process of bringing anyone up to the level that has been paid without justification. Again, that's just a brief overview. For a complete understanding of the steps to the process and the reason behind these steps, please view our overview of Oregon pay equity, which is also available on this webpage without cost. So our kit includes 3 primary items. The how-to manual. This is simply a PDF document that narrates the history and several other components related to pay equity. The kit also includes an Excel workbook for comparable characteristic analysis and an Excel workbook for pay equity analysis. We'll walk through each of these. The how-to manual has a table of contents including the pay history, the history of Oregon pay equity, the revisions that have been made to pay equity since its inception, pay equity in action, which is a definition of comparable characteristics and how job descriptions work in this process, what job characteristic analysis actually means and how your organization can approach it, how to do a pay equity analysis, and that is the evaluation of total compensation, including the justifiable and legal bona fide factors of pay difference. We also step through corrective action plans and your responsibilities, not only for upgrading any differences in pay, but also your back pay responsibilities. In the appendix, we have a copy of the actual House bill that passed this requirement into law, House Bill 2005, for again the Oregon 2017 legislative session. It's a little easier to read that document than the law, ORS 652-220. Appendix B is the job analysis questionnaire that we use to update job descriptions in concert with understanding the definitions your organization wants to use for comparable characteristics. And finally, in Appendix C is a job description format aligned with the job analysis questionnaire, which is also aligned with the comparable characteristic analysis tool, as well as Appendix D, which has handbook language around equal opportunity employment and pay administration that you might find valuable to your organization. The next part of our toolkit is the comparable characteristic analysis. This is an Excel workbook. It has 4 tabs. The first tab simply contains instructions. The second tab has definitions for the 5 comparable characteristics. If you're a small organization with 10 or fewer job titles, this doesn't mean people, it means different jobs, there will only be 5 characteristics. If you are purchasing or interested in purchasing the copy for larger organizations, this will have 14 sub-factors aligned to the 5 comparable characteristics. In each situation, whether 5 comparable characteristics or the 14 sub-factors, measurable differences or a measuring stick has been defined for each of these. It's important that an organization take the time to review this and update it for the tone and language specific to the organization. So we have created an Excel workbook where all fields can be edited by your organization. The job profile is the next worksheet in the workbook, which is simply a tracking mechanism, which can be tracked by job title or individual name, but we strongly encourage you stick with job titles. Job profile tracking allows you to capture the measurement level of each factor or characteristic that has been evaluated for all jobs in your organization. That job profile tracking creates a profile number for each job. That profile number is then used in the final tab, which is the comparable groupings report. In that report, you'll see a summary of each job profile, meaning the numerical characteristics of each job, and all job titles that fall within this. It's a simple pivot table. Now, don't get scared. You don't have to know how to use pivot tables to be able to use this Microsoft Excel workbook. We have built it based on basic Excel skills. If you do have any questions and you've purchased this tool from us, you are welcome to call and we'll help you navigate any portion of it. There is nothing about this particular workbook that requires an ongoing subscription or consulting. You can use the tool and customize it as you see fit for your organization. The Pay Equity Analysis. Again, an Excel workbook based on minimal Excel skill use and no ongoing subscriptions or consulting. Again, everything in this workbook is editable for your organization to reflect its policies and the actual instance of total compensation for your employees. So there's an instructions tab. There is a data collection outlined for total compensation or what is considered total compensation under the law. There are ad hoc fields for you to fill in column headers and employee data, and there is a data justification outline, again, aligning with the 8 bona fide factors that the law allows for difference. There is always optional consulting available to you. We have every confidence that you've got this, but sometimes you just don't have the time. So if that sounds like you, we can help you with consulting. This is not required. In most cases, if you're a small organization, about 10 hours of consulting will help you get to the goal of success for this project. However, if you're a larger organization, about twice that will usually help you get through. How you use the hours is up to you. However, with our experience with over 500 companies accomplishing this exact body of work, we generally know where those hours are most useful for an organization, and all we need is a brief conversation to help you through the process. Our goal will always be your success, and we hope that this tool and this overview might help you understand an additional option to achieve success. Whatever the question, we have the HR answers, so feel free to reach out. Our website is www.hranswers.com, or you can reach us at info@hranswers.com via email, and our phone number 503-885-9815, and simply ask to speak with a consultant. Thanks. Have a great day.